It is 1 o'clock on Tuesday, August 19th, regularly scheduled City Commission meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Mayor.
It is my turn to do the Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation. Please rise. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us in our community. We come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support as we begin this meeting to help us make our decisions, to help move our community forward in a positive direction. Be with all of our citizens in the community, but especially be with the first responders who are out and about, and please watch over them and keep them safe as they perform their duties. In this we pray, amen.
Amen.
Next on the list is the approval of the minutes. Any changes? I didn't see any changes on the minutes.
I think we were missing a vote on one of the items, so I informed the city clerk.
Okay. Got that changed then? Then they'll stand approved as corrected or amended. Public comment, item number 5 on the agenda. This is a time where the public can come forward and speak to us on any item that's not on the agenda, and please state your name. We give you 5 minutes. And hello.
Well, hello, Mayor and Commissioners. I am Callie Ryder. I'm the Executive Director for Lake County, the Community Health Coalition, and I'm here today to invite you all to our 25th anniversary that we are celebrating next Tuesday at noon at Southwind Country Club, and I have invites that I'll hand the clerk. And we would love for you all to come to our annual meeting and the celebration of 25 years. We are super proud and super excited to celebrate 25 years. Any questions?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good job. Thanks for the invite.
Of course.
Anyone else would like to come forward? Okay. Moving on to item number 6.
Item number 6A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Angelica Castillo Chapel on behalf of Community Mexican Fiesta Association to allow the mayor to proclaim the month of September 2025 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of Garden City, Kansas.
Entertain a motion on this item.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on this item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed. And I think it's during the parade that the mayor usually reads the proclamation, or like before the celebration, after the parade, or during the parade, or sometime around the parade.
Yes, Mayor. The invitation includes all commissioners to ride in the parade, but also for you to present and read the proclamation at the park event at Stevens Park after the parade. So approximately 11 a.m.
And that would be on September
13th.
the 13th. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under report of the city manager, item 7A, Assistant City Manager Burke will present an update on the 2026 low-income housing tax credit awards.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. I come with good news this go around. I know I had bad news at our last meeting, but late last week, the city received an announcement from the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation that Thompson Point Apartments was selected as one of the recipients for the low-income housing tax credit and Kansas Affordable Housing Tax Credit for 2026. So as a reminder, Zimmerman Properties is the applicant, and the project is 48 units that will include both 3-bed, 2-bath, and 2-bed, 2-bath units for those making between 50% and 60% of the area median income. Project is located at the northeast corner of West Thompson Street and 11th Street with close proximities to Park, grocery store, the new health department, and EMS building, and an elementary school. So very excited to see that announcement come through and wanted to share that with you all. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have related to that application.
That's excellent news. Great.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7B, Finance Director Coolman will present an update on hours open to the public for the Service and Finance Department.
Good afternoon. Since January 2022, the Service and Finance Department has been operating with the hours open to the public of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. This limited time open to the public allowed for staff to complete their necessary daily accounting of revenue and securely process those deposits without people coming in and out while we did that. This time also allowed staff to do staff meetings and trainings and opportunities to kind of build out and do all the tasks associated with the implementation of new software. Now that we have gone live and are kind of full-fledged at this point, we have seen some significant increases in our ability to process those daily accounting and deposits quicker and more efficiently. And so we're able to do that in a shorter time frame. So we're going to be effective September 1, opening our office hours to the public from 8:30 to 4:30. This will still allow that time frame at the end of the day and the beginning to kind of bookend getting that done, and then still allow time for staff meetings and other training to do it a little bit quicker. So just want to make sure that was something on your agenda that you were aware of, as that's going to be coming pretty quick, and we'll use social media and some other means to promote that, make sure people know. And we'll get the stickers updated on the door. That's probably the most
That's great.
important.
It's awesome.
All right, thank you.
Any questions? None? All right, thank you.
Item 7C, Public Works and Utilities Director Muirhead will update the governing body on the city's recent Connecting Link program grant award.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Back in March 18th of 2025, the governing body approved staff to submit a grant application to the City Connecting Link Improvement Program, we call it the CCLIP program, for fiscal year 2028 with the KDOT, Kansas Department of Transportation. The CCLIP funds cities to address deficiencies or improve a city connecting link on a state highway system. A city connecting link is defined as a state highway system within the city's corporate limits. 2 projects were submitted that included pavement restoration application that would replace select panels and joints along Fulton Street and South Main Street, and a surface restoration project consisting of a mill and overlay on Main Street from Walnut to Pine Street. However, after KDOT officials, city staff, and Wilson Company completed a site visit, it was determined with guidance from KDOT to revise the scope of work on the proposed pavement restoration project to focus on a systematic program to fully reconstruct the pavement on Fulton Street, US 50 business corridor, and that's basically from Washington Street west to 3rd Street, and all of the pavement on both sides of that, all 4 lanes would be removed and replaced. We were not awarded the one for the other portion. So KDOT has awarded and will allocate up to $1.5 million for this 2028 project, which includes preliminary engineering, construction engineering. The city will be required to contribute a minimum of 15% plus anything over the initial amount for all right-of-way and utility costs. The estimate is unchanged from what was presented at the March 28th, 2025 meeting at $1,765,000, with KDOT covering 85% of it, up to 1.5 million, and then the city share would be $265,000, which would be budgeted in the 2026 and 2027, 2028 budget years. So that's also some good news. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mike? All right,
Great.
thank you. Congratulations, thank you. Awesome.
Items 7D through H are staff reports, monthly staff reports. Are there any questions or comments concerning those reports?
Just another record month for the airport and employments. So,
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a great year.
yeah, definitely becoming the regional hub of Western Kansas.
Meetings of note, item 8, you'll see a long list there. If any of those require RSVPs, please do that through the city clerk's office. And we'll add the August 25th, 2025 to the record of this meeting so that if quorum attends that, you guys are in the good. I think we're ready for item 9A, Appropriation Ordinance, if approved, to be 2593-2025A.
I make a motion that we approve Appropriation Ordinance number 2593-2025A. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on that item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passes.
Item 12A is a scheduled 1:30 time. We can actually start that earlier. It doesn't have to be necessarily 1:30 if Great Plains is here, but we'll jump back to that because I don't think they're here yet.
Not
Nope,
yet.
They're not here yet. Item 12B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the application for an additional round of AFAC funding in 2025. Danielle.
Good afternoon again, Mayor and Commissioners. Funding for AFAC is established in KSA 79-41A04 and creates an alcohol liquor fund from alcohol consumption tax funds. State law prescribes how those funds can be utilized. With few treatment and prevention facilities and agencies within Garden City, past awards have largely been made to agencies that have provided an expanded definition of prevention based on accepted categories of prevention strategies. This added flexibility really helps to keep those funds local. Earlier this year, the City Commission awarded AFAC funds through the annual award process, and as a reminder, that grant has two paths. The first one is $50,000 that's dedicated to agencies that request $6,000 or less. Those are reviewed by staff. And then there's a secondary process, which is also $50,000, and those are for agencies requesting over $6,000. While both of those processes received more requests than we had funds available, there still is fund balance within the special alcohol fund. So as a result, staff's recommending opening up an additional round of AFAC funds, with funds being prioritized to meet one of the following current or previous City Commission goals: youth leadership engagement, support healthcare providers, co-responder program, assist in the development of private child care options. The proposals still need to identify the connection between programming and prevention, intervention, education, or treatment, but the goal is that a concerted effort in these areas will help move these initiatives forward and provide some one-time funding opportunities to expand capacity. In 2023, the City Commission opened another round of funding in the amount of $250,000. In 2024, the City Commission opened another round of funding in the amount of $75,000, and staff would recommend capping the application round at $200,000 to keep sufficient fund balance in that fund for future grant rounds. The scoring rubric and application have been modified based on the City Commission's discussion at the July 1 meeting. The Commission may direct staff to make modifications to that rubric. If no modifications are made, that's what we'll use and put out on our website to garner those submissions. Three alternatives before you today. The first, the governing body may authorize staff to release the application for AFAC grant funding in 2025 for $200,000 and use the evaluation criteria as presented. Two, the governing body may authorize staff to release another round of AFAC funding in 2025 in an amount to be determined by you all, and or modify the evaluation and application criteria. Or three, the governing body may not authorize staff to release an additional round of AFAC funding in 2025. Staff recommends the governing body authorize staff to release the application for AFAC funding in 2025 for $200,000 and use the application and scoring rubric as presented. The fiscal note associated with this is that there's no cost, obviously, to release those applications, but once you all get those back, there will be a cost associated with making recommendations to fund whatever agencies make it through the process. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Any questions for Danielle?
Well, on the application, it says August 15th. Obviously, that's not going to be the date. Do you have so how are you going to do a 2-month date in the future? I was just curious about the date that you're going to require the applications due.
So we made a late modification to that application. So if you go and look at it now, it has September 19th as the due date. We also modified a few of those questions to more closely align with the rubric. Apologies when the agenda actually went out.
Okay.
It was the old version of the application, not the new one. So it has since been modified.
Yeah, and my only other comment is I think the top three, we've done a lot with private child care options. The top three of those goals seem to be still pretty relevant. I know that child care has been something that the economic development has done an incredible job on. I really feel that it's something that's really well taken care of. So if possible, I'd love to see the top three. But I'm open to all, but I'd rather see the top three of those, the youth engagement engagement, the support healthcare providers, and co-responder program as maybe our focus rather than all four. Other than that, I have no comments.
Any other questions? Or
as far as the application scoring rubric goes, how is the total score going to be implemented into the fact that you decide how that funding is going to get allocated to each of those programs?
Yeah, so that will be the criteria by which the group will look at and rank those so that we get kind of that scoring from, the highest priority. We will still have a group looking at those to discuss what that ultimate recommendation looks like to you all. So they may take the approach of we fill completely up the buckets, and try to, we'll stop when the funding runs out. That group may also, though, make a recommendation to say, hey, this application was multi-tiered and that type of thing, and so we want a partial recommendation here or there. This is really to help them start that conversation, that prioritization conversation, but they will still have flexibility within that to make a recommendation to you all. So it won't necessarily be a hard and fast, this is the score and here's the recommendation. There'll be some additional discussion happening above and beyond that as well. And this is the first time we've used a scoring application like this for either the AFAC funds or the community grant funds, and so there'll be a little bit of a learning process as we go through it as well, to see kind of what portions of it worked, where do we need to make some modifications and that type of thing moving forward. So I think a little bit of it depends on how that scoring actually shakes out to see, do we have differentiation between all of the applicants, or are we may be needing to modify the rubric so there's a little bit more differentiation. So I don't know that I have a great answer for you, but it'll be the starting point of that discussion.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it'd be an easy thing to do, but I think as long as they're getting discussed and talked about and then ranking them between what their goals are and what they have to submit, that would be appropriate.
But I noticed it says for scoring committee use only, and so again, part of the process is helping those who apply for the applications to become better at their application, or at least understand why they didn't get funded. So if none of the comments are forwarded or none of the scores are forwarded to the applicants, then really we're in the same situation where they don't really know, well, what did I do wrong, or what did I do well, or why was I funded, or why was I not funded. So when this says for scoring committee only, I just want to make sure that we are capturing those comments. And I think it's also, as a commissioner, I'm interested in the comments and the collective wisdom of the group who's going through that, so that we know that they're choosing applications based on their merit and based upon how many people they're impacting, those kind of things. So I just want to make sure that this is something that's also communicated to the applicants. I would love to see it also, but applicants I think really need to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. These scoring sheets will be brought back to you all with the recommendation.
Yeah.
And the intent was with most of these was trying to make it as black and white as possible. So you'll see a lot of percentages. So, as it relates to our funds being spent locally, we'll look at that budget and essentially do the math to say, okay, 100% of the funds are going to be spent locally. That means you get 5 points. Or 30% of funds will be spent locally. That means you get 2 points. So to try to provide kind of that concrete feedback as it relates to the items really highlighted on that rubric.
Great. You've done a great job with the starting point. I think it's really well done, so thank you.
any other questions, comments?
I do think, Commissioner Unruh, I think the commission needs to take up that. Otherwise, it's an isolated comment. And if the commission went with alternative one, I don't think we would change the application or the criteria. So I think, while it wasn't a motion, I would like for us to have some clarity on if it's the intent of the majority of the commission to remove or somehow on the rubric create a lower value for applications that dealt with the previous year commission goal of private child care options.
I think for me, I know that our economic development does a really great job. I think there is still a need in our community for private child care options. So I think right now I would like to include it on here, but I can understand why to prioritize the top three, because that also makes sense to me too.
Commissioner Ortiz, Landgraf?
I'm okay with getting it on there. That'd be one of our goals that we've discussed in previous meetings. So, I mean, I wouldn't see any problem with getting that added on.
Yeah, I'm good with leaving it on as well. I think it's still a need in our community at this time.
Yeah, and my purpose is bringing it up just for discussion to make sure that we're really honing in and not just, again, doing what we've always done. I want to make sure that we're really answering the things that really need to be taken care of. So I'm fine with leaving it on also. I just want to make sure that we discuss those things, so.
And I was fine leaving it on. I think it's still a priority in our community. But I think the top three are probably more of a focus, but I think leaving all four on are good. And well, again, all the comments that were made, it's the commission's final decision on how we approve
Good point.
the funds.
It would
the
make
committee
that
makes-
rubric really hard to adjust if
Right.
you were going to weigh the four different goals. And again, if this sets the table for somebody to make a recommendation, and you want to make an adjustment at the end of that based on something that you as a group, a majority of you feel more comfortable moving 5,000 from one to another, that's within your discretion. That might be a better place to accomplish that. Otherwise, it's a little complicated already. That would make it would probably double it in size.
Right.
Well,
we don't need
again,
that.
it's a first try. I think let's see where it lands. Again, like I said, it's the commission's final. I mean, it comes to us. We're the final arbiters on how the funds are spent. The matrix helps make it better. I mean, that's one of the comments that we've stated in the past that we asked that staff to work on, and they've done that for us. But again, once the committee's done all their work, it's our final thought process and our final approval on how the funds are allocated. So just wanted to make that statement. Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
You're very welcome. I am asking for a motion related
yes.
to actually using the
Okay.
rubric in the application.
Entertain a motion on the suggested funding.
I authorize staff to release the application of AFAC grant funding in 2025 for $200,000 and use the evaluation criteria as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on that item? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve validating the city manager's use of the emergency purchase provision in the city's financial management guidelines for the purchase of a 2025 M2106 Freightliner M2 106 4x4 for $264,215. Mike?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners. Back on Friday, August 1st, the electric department was installing new underground power cables along Jimmy Barker Road, which we had referenced in the pre-meeting. The big cable requires the underground cable pulling machine and a digger derrick truck. This is the preferred method of installing these large cables. The process and equipment have been utilized numerous times before without any incident. However, during this installation, everything went smoothly until the last little bit of the pull of the big cable when the boom on that digger derrick unit 14 failed. It cracked open at the pin, and I put some pictures in there. I think you were able to see those. The failure has been attributed to the age of the equipment, which is a 24-year-old 2001 International, not by misuse or abuse of the equipment. After consultation with the manufacturer, it was determined that the boom could not be repaired, and it would need to be replaced, and possibly the turret that the boom sets on would also need to be replaced. The estimated cost for these repairs was between $30,000 and $65,000. It was determined that putting that amount of money into a 24-year-old cabin chassis wasn't desirable to do that. Didn't make economic sense. Staff located 3 2025 digger derrick options to purchase as a replacement. The failed unit will be sold just as is. I seriously doubt we'll get very much money for it, but whatever money we would get would go back towards that purchase cost. 3 options were provided to the city manager to consider for the purchase replacement of that digger derrick. The The preferred option was item number 3, which was the least expensive option. However, it required a commitment from the City of Garden City to hold these units so they would become available as soon as it could become available out of the factory. Therefore, I requested an authorization from the city manager to allow the city to commit to purchase option number 3 as an emergency purchase as defined in the financial management guidelines, and to follow up with the governing body on its August 19th meeting today and advise them of that purchase commitment. The city manager did approve the emergency request, the emergency purchase request, and notified the governing body on August 8th, 2025 of such, as outlined in the emergency purchase provision in the City of Garden City's financial guidelines. And just for reference, there's currently a 1997 T-Rex Telecommander digger derrick in the fleet that we will use for the time being. However, we have another one, but it's too big to fit in the alley, so we're keeping this old one around to help accommodate what we need to accommodate. We do have a digger derrick and a bucket truck on order that's been on order for over 2 years. And I was just advised this morning that the bucket truck will be delivered either the end of this week or the first of next week. And then the digger derrick is still somewhere 30 to 45 days out. The vehicle that we issued the emergency purchase on will be delivered in September, right out of the factory. So really the options that you have as the governing body may approve validating the city manager's use of the emergency purchase policy provision in the city's financial management guidelines for the purchase of that 2025 M2106 Freightliner, an M2106 4x4 for $264,215, or the governing body may choose not to validate the city manager's decision to use that. Staff recommends that the governing body validate the city manager's use of that emergency purchase provision as outlined in the city's financial guidelines. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on the fiscal note. The funding for this new digger derrick will come out of the electric department's cash reserves, which are estimated at $5.5 million.
Any questions for Mike?
I kind of have a comment and a question probably, but so in looking at the $30,000 to $65,000 range to get the 24-year-old truck fixed, I know that's probably not a classic that we'd like to spend our money towards, right? Because 24-year-old vehicles like that put in a lot of work probably just need to be replaced anyway. So I appreciate that, just being open about that cost of replacement. You mentioned in here that this is the preferred method of installment on this work. Is it the best way to do this work? Or is there an alternative? I know there's a bunch of ingenuitive thinkers in our staff, so is this the best way to install some of this work?
I think if there was a better way to do it, that would be to have a much larger cable pulling machine than the one that we have. But this is very common practice where the digger derrick is set up with a series of travelers, if you will, dollies that spin, and the cable then is pulled through those travelers and up through the digger derrick just holds that in place while the cable puller pulls that cable through. So if we eliminated that, they do make some really fancy cable pulling machines that have big wheels right on front of it. You stick it down in those concrete bolts and pull it that way. But
Yeah.
for no more often than we pull in this size of cable, it's about that big around. For no more often than we do that, I don't think it'd be recommended to upgrade to bigger equipment.
All right. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion on this item.
I move to approve validating the city manager's use of the emergency purchase provision in the city's financial management guidelines for the purchase of the 2025 M2106 Freightliner M2106 4x4 for $264,215.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard Commissioner Ortiz first there on that second. Any discussion on that item? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. That item passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
12D, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a bid from Lee Construction. Actually,
Yeah,
They're here.
Lane's here. Let's go ahead and jump back to 12A. The governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Great Plains Development, Inc. for the city membership and participation in the amount of $4,350. Celine, do you want to start the item?
Yes. Mayor and Commissioners, first of all, I would like to unfortunately point out a mistake. So on your paper copy of your agenda and on the agenda that was on the screen, it has 4350. If you look at the memo which Matt has pulled up, it's actually 5100. So just wanted to bring that to your attention first. Great Plains Development is a regional economic development organization serving counties and cities in southwest Kansas. Membership provides Garden City with priority assistance for business loan applications, grant preparation that reduce fees, research on funding sources, letters of support, workshops, and inclusion in the regional comprehensive economic strategy. The 2025 membership fee is $10,200. That's shared equally with Finney County, so the city's portion would be $5,100. That is what's recommended. Bob Wetmore is also here to speak with you regarding the membership agreement, so I will turn it over to Bob.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, City Manager, and staff. Great Plains is always happy to be here and to kind of give you a rundown on what we do all year long. Working locally is kind of a seamless thing for us, and by the way, in doing that work, let me introduce Hannah Sparks, who will pass out to you a paper copy of what you've got electronically, which I think will be a little bit easier to look at. And if you want to give one to each of them. Hannah is our Associate Director. The really cool thing about Hannah is, I'll tell secrets about Hannah. She's been with us for 5 years. She was able to, we actually got a scholarship for Hannah. She's one of 9 folks in the 10-state region. She's our only Kansas representative to go through an emerging leadership program, which she's been doing all year. Hannah was able to travel to several locations. She continues to travel to locations. She'll finish up in Utah, in Salt Lake City in October with a final training week. And Hannah will be able to take over, and you won't have to put up with Faye and Bob anymore. But to remind you, we do have a co-director who is Faye Trent. Faye Trent has been with Great Plains for, I think, 28 years. I've been there 15. Hannah's been here 5. We have some other employees that also help us out. So we just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what we do. For those of you that may not remember or may not know what we do, Great Plains wears 2 hats. One is a grant hat. Depending on the county we're in, out of the 28 counties we serve, for instance, here in Finney County, Holcomb is one that's kind of out in the county. We can assist with that. If they qualify for some of these programs that are out there, and Hannah could tell you all about all of them, KDH&E, CDBG for municipal grants, any types of grants that they might qualify for. It's easy to give us a phone call, and we're able to help look at all those different programs. USDA Rural Development also is really important. As a city, the city of Garden City, of course, is outside of most of those parameters that we have. They also in the case of city or statewide grants, CDBG grants, you have a low to moderate income requirement. And you may remember that requirement because the other hat we wear is the loan side, and we help with the cities and the counties revolving loan fund, and those had low to moderate income requirements. We weren't using those a lot over the years, so even though that got remanded back to the state, there's tons of other options out there besides the CDBG revolving loan fund. In fact, I promise not to go through all of it. That's the 11 by 17 page in there that has all the different loan and grant programs. As a summary for you, we had, that we can count, that we've kept track of, 23 loan inquiries in about the past year and a half, 14 applications, and we had 9 loan awards. Probably, if I'm guessing, Finney County is probably the busiest county we've had when it comes to actual loan awards. It's number 1. Know that working with Lana and Grant and Economic Development has been fantastic. Also, Chamber, we get leads through Downtown Vision. We also get leads through Chamber. We also are the folks that help with the GCAID, the Garden City Area Industrial Development Group. They're the folks that have a private revolving loan fund. So we work with them and administrate that loan fund separately. You probably heard about economic development and their e-community loan fund. We assist with that. We're kind of the one-stop shop. Give us a call. We'll package the whole thing. We'll find the different programs that apply. We'll work with local banks. A lot of our leads come directly through the local banks, and then we'll backtrack with economic development, say, hey, got a lead here. If economic development gets it first, they'll let us know who the bank is, and we'll start the process. So from a loan side of things, this is probably, without doubt, the most active area. Okay, we spend more time on Garden City and Infinite County than we do anybody.
That's
so
good
I don't know
news,
how
that's
else to
good.
explain it. Know that a lot of these programs are going away. On the grant side, on the revolving loan fund side, not so much. We still have actively a lot of loan funds we can access. Great Plains has their own in-house funds. So if all else fails, we back up to our own in-house funds. Banks come first. We always rely on the bank, work with the bank, start with the bank first. If the bank does a whole bunch of upfront work, we don't have to do extra. We can actually, we sign agreements with each other and we exchange paperwork. That helps the borrowers out there. If a small borrower has filled out paperwork from the bank, there's no reason they have to fill out extra paperwork for us. So we exchange documents back and forth. We do the same thing. If we get them before the bank and the bank says, hey, will you help us? You have an application. Have you run a credit check? Have we done those things? And the answer is, if the answer is yes, we slide everything sideways and make it fast and easy. We also take it all the way through closing. So we'll do the closing. We'll administrate the loan fund. We'll also do the servicing. So if someone has a question about something, they can call any of us and we're able to backtrack on any loan when it comes to servicing. If we need to do a workout, if we need to help with additional funding, if the business expands, we can work with that. Know that we also have direct connections to the USDA Rural Development Group. We also have USDA revolving loan funds that we can work with. KDH&E, Hannah works a lot with KDH&E, both from a grant, and there's also other loan funds available out there from some of these different agencies. So those are always there. Can you see how the grant and the loan part kind of blend together depending on what the project is? We also spend a lot of time in Topeka, more time than we probably really want to, but we have two state associations there. We have a loan state association, we have a grant state association. We also camp on the doorstep of Department of Commerce. So Commerce and us work directly together. In fact, we have a brand new request from them starting this fall. We'll be working on finding a location for what we call a Rural Excellence Initiative. We're going to be bringing in some specific people. We're going to reach out over to all of our counties and cities and say, Commerce wants to learn more. They're working on the latest state plan. What can we do to give them feedback from our region? So internally, we're going to be working on orchestrating that, setting it up, getting people invited. It should be October, I think, this year. And then we'll send that information back out to them, and our state association is acting as the kind of the umbrella for that. And by chance, are you your secretary? Secretary. She's secretary. I'm president of the state association, so we'll keep that coordinated. Most importantly for us is keeping Southwest Kansas on the doorstep of commerce. Speaking of doorsteps, so everything west of Wanamaker is not a dirt road, but it's better to explain that sometimes. Anything else I've forgotten?
That sounds great.
Is that kind of the whole thing? Thoughts, questions about what we do, how we do it?
Bob, how long have you been with us? Or how long have we been a member?
How long have you been members? Great Plains was formed in '87. Finney County and Garden City were original founding members. There was 2 organizations got together. One was over here in Garden, one was in Pratt. They merged together and did a home office in Dodge City. So really since '87, and as a volunteer member, just dues paying member, you've been supporting us, Matt, I think since the beginning. I don't know.
I don't go back to '87, but yeah, I can take you back to 2002. Yeah.
So, forever.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I could see the benefit in utilizing your programs and assisting some of the stakeholders and investors that come into the Finney County area and Garden City. Can you tell me how many projects have you served or helped in Garden City?
We do, and normally I would bring to you a portfolio that shows all those numbers because the group's used to seeing how many jobs we retain and create and how many projects there are. I don't have an update for that for the moment. It's in, if I remember the last one from a year or so ago, it was in $70 to $80 million project. The jobs exceeded 2,000 retained, 2,000 created. Because part of what we have to do with both the federal programs and the state programs is keep track of that.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's what we do. It's a good question.
So Bob, you talked about a lot of the grant programs kind of finishing up or going away. Are they replacing them with other grant programs, or are they refining opportunities to really support commerce in Kansas?
The answer is it's all over the board because all of these agencies operate differently. I would say commerce is much more organized now than they may have been a few years ago with knowing where they're going and what they're doing. How that transcends administrations is going to be important. The structure of what commerce does, a lot of it's cast in statute. Sometimes we ignore that statute, but there really is statute there governing that. As long as we stick to some of that framework shouldn't change a lot. It'll depend on how the legislature decides to actually fund that as time goes on. Know that we used to get a small stipend. I think we got $37,000 a year for the Kansas Association of Certified Development Companies. That was our loan side. And for the first time ever 2 years ago, since 1989, Commerce decided not to fund that. So we lost that little bit of funding that we had. You see, we pieced all those things together. We always used to say we had 36 different sources. That funding has gone away. Some of the other funding, we used to get some administrative funds from grants. A lot of that funding went away. However, some of the CDG municipal grants, the funding has actually increased a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
It's gone, meaning from 19,000 to how much is it a year? It's like 28,000, somewhere in there per project if we get a project. Unfortunately, those programs, we used to do a lot of those programs, but a lot of those programs have been shifted back. There's only about 5 or 6 core areas out of, normally we'd have 20, 25 areas, and they've kind of shifted that back over the last 4 years, 6 years. So the answer is, it's there. We'll see where all this goes, and what we try to do is just hang out and say, okay, based on this, how can we help you figure out where to go and what can we save and put together? From the loan side of things are really pretty good right now. We have good access to revolving loan funds. So if a nail salon or a restaurant or a small manufacturer comes in, we're pretty good at knowing what to do locally. Banks always come first. So we listen to the bankers and let them say, okay, we've got 80% of it, we have 50% of it. Can you help with the remaining gap?
Well, I appreciate the way that you support our economic development issues here in Garden City and the way that you support any kind of economic development overall, but I know that you've been hugely beneficial to us.
Talk to your state representatives about helping to support some of those programs. Some of them are what I call legacy. They've been around for a long time. They just made the decision, well, we're not going to do that. Tax credit programs, which we used to have a lot of options where, particularly in small communities, they could do community service tax credits. Those are still hanging in there, kind of, sort of. Network Kansas has a tax credit revolving loan fund that helps. Majority of Network Kansas's funds come from Treasury now. So Treasury, through the governor's office, into Commerce, is where our biggest pot of revolving loan fund money is. And it's really accessible and it's working really well. I mean, we're approaching a lot of loans that we do in the region and around the area, over 100 loans a year probably now. So we've gone from doing 24 a year to really upping that. So that part is working. We really need to focus on small municipal support out there. That's where the hurt is right now. Small towns.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we need to have a motion for the agreement on this. Would you entertain a motion on this item?
I move that we approve the Great Plains Development Incorporated membership agreement in the amount of $5,100.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on this item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed. Thank you.
Commissioners, item 12D, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a bid from Lee Construction, Inc. for $1,187,700 to construct public water supply well number 33.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. In 2021, the city began experiencing issues with two of our public water supply wells. That was Sand Hills 1 and the Chestnut well. These issues are not related to water level in the well. They were mechanical in the construction of the well. The city entered into an engineering agreement with professional engineering consultants in July of 2021 to design new wells to replace these assets. Public water supply well number 32 was developed to replace Sand Hills number 1, and that bid was awarded to Lee Construction. That project has been completed, and we're waiting to do final closeout on it. We've been enjoying water from that well most of the summer. Development for well 32 and well 33 occurred simultaneously in terms of design, but for well 33 we ran into some issues. The first issue was the lack of appropriate space to re-drill the well. The Chestnut well property was literally the size of the well, and so we didn't have anywhere to re-drill. As a result, the city purchased property at 214 Fleming Street as a location for the new well, and the city applied to the Kansas Division of Water Resources to move the well more than 300 feet from the site of the old well. That application was approved by Division of Water Resources. An extensive environmental review by KDHE was completed in June 2025, and the city immediately began preparing the bid documents for the project. The bid opening for public water supply well number 33 occurred on August 8th, 2025. The city received one bid for the project for construction for $1,187,700. Lee Construction also indicated in their bid an included an exclusion alternate proposal letter for consideration by the governing body. This exclusion would propose an alternate construction method for the public water supply well building, the well house, substituting split-face concrete block as an alternative to the specified precast concrete. That exclusion would result in a total price deduction of approximately $90,000 from the base bid. If the alternate building material is selected, the city will have a $4,500 fee from PEC to design the structure so it can be constructed. The bid acceptance letter from PEC and the bid tabulation are attached to this agenda item for your review. Alternatives for the governing body. The governing body may choose to approve the bid from Lee Construction Incorporated for $1,187,700 to construct public water supply well number 33. The governing body alternately may choose to approve the bid from Lee Construction for $1,187,700 and direct staff to approve a supplemental design agreement with PEC for $4,500 to design a CMU block building, which will result in an anticipated contractor project deduction of $90,000. The governing body may choose not to approve the bid from Lee Construction Incorporated. Staff recommendation. Staff recommends the governing body approve the bid from Lee Construction for $1,187,700 and direct staff to approve a supplemental design agreement with PEC for $4,500 to design a CMU block building. If approved, the project will be funded from 2024 General Obligation Bonds Series A. The GL code is listed in the memo for your reference.
Any questions?
So could I get some clarity on this? So the staff recommendation is to approve the bid for Lee Construction and also approve the supplemental design for the block building.
Yes.
And is that in lieu of eventually wanting to have the cost saving of $90,000?
So in order to construct the concrete block building, PEC will need to design that and stamp it so it's part of the project.
Gotcha.
And then Lee Construction will utilize that material to construct it as an alternative to precast concrete.
So then are you saying that you won't know the actual set cost savings, or you're not taking advantage of the cost savings? I guess I'm still not understanding.
So in the letter which is attached to the memo, Lee Construction indicated that pursuing the concrete block construction as opposed to the precast concrete construction would result in that deduction, approximately.
So then if you choose alternative 2, is that what you're recommending?
That's what we're recommending.
Okay, gotcha.
Because
Okay.
we believe it would save approximately.
Yeah, and you won't know the actual savings until it's designed. I understand that. So.
They feel pretty comfortable in what they had proposed in that alternate letter. So the design issue is just ensuring that we have it appropriately designed so it's built to code and stamped by the engineer.
So we should see no more than the 1.187 plus 90,000 for the construction of the well and the building. I mean, realistically,
it should deduct from the
Deduct 90,000, yeah.
It should deduct from the bid value of $1,187,000. So this is an attempt to reduce that bid amount by approximately $90,000.
I mean, I'm glad it's a local company that is bidding. Was the bid just, is it something that's specialized and there wasn't, I just was curious, because usually when you bid out something, there are 2 or 3 bids that people will offer. So I was curious about.
So well construction is the bulk of the work that is done there. One of the biggest items is the drilling of the well. Aside from that, Lee Construction, the drilling of the well is done by a well driller, so that's a third party that they contract with. In this case, in Lee's bid, they had selected Hydro Resources from here in Garden to construct the well. Lee Construction will then construct the well house, the building over the well, the electrical, which is subcontracted, and then they're piping it into our distribution system. So it doesn't attract a lot of bids because it's not a really big project. It has a large price tag to it, but in terms of construction, it's not a terribly large project for them. So it probably just, I think it has to deal with what contractors are close by and available. it's not the scope of project that the contractor would be traveling for probably.
So are these wells, are these going to be deeper than what the original ones were at, and how deep are those?
No, we were limited to the depth of the aquifer in terms of how deep we'll drill. They're both similar to what was installed prior. Sand Hills 1, which is already complete, is deeper than what we had in the old well because there was a mechanical failure well before my time here, and they actually reduced the overall depth of that well. Well 33, which we're considering today, is going to be approximately the same depth as the old well, just in a different location.
Is that 150 foot deep, or how?
It's 300.
300.
Approximately.
Okay.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion on this item.
I move to approve the bid from Lee Construction, Inc. for $1,187,700 and direct staff to approve supplemental design agreement with PEC for $4,500 design a CMU block building, which will result in an anticipated contractor project reduction of $90,000.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on this item? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. That item passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12E, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a bid for the automated recycle baler machine from Reaction Distributing, Inc. for $144,790.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Staff solicited bids on July 14th, 2025 for a new automated recycle baler machine to be installed at the Recycle Center located at 125 JC Street. Bids were opened publicly on August 4th, 2025 at 10 a.m. 6 bids were received, and BE Equipment Incorporated was the lowest bidder at $133,651. However, their bid contained 6 different specification exceptions. The most important exception is that the dimensions of the baler submitted by BE Equipment Incorporated are too large to fit in the location that we have available at our recycle center and would cause more expense in building modifications. Therefore, staff recommends rejecting that bid from BE Equipment Incorporated, and staff recommends approving the bid with Reaction Distributing Incorporated, which was the second lowest bidder at $144,790. However, they did have minor exceptions, but nothing critical to the location or the operation of the baler. 2 alternatives before you today. We have 1, the governing body may deny BE Equipment Incorporated's bid for the $133,651 and approve the Reaction Distributing Incorporated bid of $144,790. Alternative 2, the governing body may redirect staff. And the recommendation here is the governing body approve the bid from Reaction Distributing Incorporated for $144,790. For the fiscal note, if approved, the cost of the baler would be included in the 2025 general obligation bond issue of the city, along with other purchases of the solid waste department. And this cost would be included in the Fund 402 capital projects upon receipt of the revenues from the general obligation bond issuance. And talking with Jared, plan on having that bond issuance around December. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Tyler, you mentioned just minor exceptions. Could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit? Just
Yeah, so looking at the specs here, the minor exceptions were the width and the length, which were, I think, within 6 inches of what we were looking for. It's a tight spot right there. I know most of you have been to the recycle center, and we're putting this unit just right next to the current one we have, and that's also where we have our loading dock. So, space is very limited there. The other one was the cycle time. We have under 30 seconds for full stroke. For that recycle time, I think they were at 38 seconds. So, when you're getting into like 50 and 60 seconds, it's a little more time consuming when you're trying to bail the volume that we do each day.
What is the life expectancy of a baler? Is it?
So the current unit we have right now, it's a 25-year-old machine. We've taken very well care of it, and I would say 20 to 25 years, should be on that rotation to look at that anew.
I was just curious, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
And one thing we did look at is trying to standardize parts so that we're not putting, two different types of parts on the shelf, and we can utilize those on both units.
Great.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion on this item.
I move we deny B Equipment Inc.'s bid of $133,651 and approve Reaction Distributing Inc.'s bid of $144,790.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on this item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed. Thank you.
On the consent agenda, we would like to pull 13H, and no action will be needed on 13H. So therefore, the appropriate motion, if you don't want to pull anything else and discuss it on the consent agenda, would be to approve the consent agenda items 13A through G and 13I through M.
Is there anyone from the public here to discuss any of the nuisance items on the consent agenda? None being, I make the motion to approve consent agendas items 13A through G and 13I through M. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on this item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed. Commissioner reports. Commissioner Unruh.
So I know that school is back in session, and I know that there are lots of things happening. I just want to make sure we're really conscious of the school zones and also just all of the crosswalks. I love the way they work. I mean, especially and now that the mornings are it's staying darker later, so just to make sure they're aware. I did drive by this morning on my way to walk the dogs, and I saw that they were out in the football field. This is at 6:30 in the morning, so they were out on the high school's, the old high school's football field. What was that, Horace Good? Mm-hmm. Horace Good's football field, so I thought that was really, so there's lots of students out there doing it and running. I do really appreciate our trail system here. I want to say thank you to all of the care and the energy and the care that goes into that. Also, just again, notice at end of summer, just to make sure you check on your neighbors. I know that for all of us, making sure that the neighborhood is safe. I mean, a lot of the things that happen in neighborhoods, for good and bad, also really depend on us as neighbors. And also, just wanted to say thank you for just an incredible year at at Garden Rapids at the big pool. It was an incredible year, and they offered something that was really fun, that you could walk around the lazy river. It was harder than I thought, but it was really great exercise. I hope they keep coming up with innovative ways to use the pool. I think they really are trying to get the most out of the pool and the most out of that community resource. Last thing I want to say is just thank you to all of the city workers and all of the city staff who tirelessly make sure that Garden City continuously comes out on top. And so lots of people talk about our city when you're anywhere else and they find out you're from Garden City, and they all know something about Garden City. Oftentimes when you go out of town, you can learn things about Garden City that you had no idea about, especially how good restaurants are or what's coming next. And so I'm not very good at Facebook, but they find out a lot of things of what's coming next and what's happening in Garden City. And so it's really exciting to be a part of a city who other people want to come to and be a part of also. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Landgraf.
So I just want to start by saying it was a really great pre-meeting that we had regarding the Northeast Garden City traffic study and also the sewer. I think having both of those things really just shows how much Garden City is growing, so it's really good having both of those. Also, I was able to be part of National Night Out, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who put on events. It was a blast. Ate probably more food than I should have, but it was really great. And then also just want to say, looking forward to the Dream First Bank Charity Classic this week. It's great to have the Epson Tour in town. It's great because it's honestly one of my favorite events, because we bring in so many people from all across the world, and they get to see our golf course. That's probably one of the best in the country, in my opinion. And also, not only do they get to see this wonderful golf course, they also get to see this wonderful town as well. So I just want to highly encourage people to go out there and see the event. It's going on. The first round starts this Friday. And just so people know, you can't park at Buffalo Dunes. You have to take a shuttle that starts at the community college, and they'll bus you over to the event.
Commissioner Nguyen.
Yeah, I was also joining Officer Olson for National Night Out. And as I think the joy of that was to be able to run off the food in our makeshift race. And it was just a joy to spend time and just to chat and see our community be so excited to have the relationship they do with our police department and fire department. And I was also very grateful for the invitation from Mayor Cessna to welcome the new teachers in our community. Matt Allen did a fantastic job sharing his story, and our mayor shared his story too, of just the joy of living and working in Garden City. And congratulations to Live Well for the 25th anniversary. A lot has been accomplished by Live Well, and I think that we should definitely be grateful for the tremendous work that they've done in our community. And as I was going through the reports, I was wondering if there is a possibility that we could add Parks and Rec reports to our monthly reports, whether, I can't remember if we get a yearly report of Parks and Rec, but it would be great to see all the events that has been done for that month or any other happenings that we get to see with Parks and Rec, especially the season, their pool season too. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Ortiz.
Yeah. Lots of things going on. I guess we're halfway through the year. School started, so we're looking forward to the end of the year, probably cooler weather. But I was able to go to the United Way golf tournament, actually play in it. I'm not a good golfer, but I did enjoy the new holes and the golf course. So it was amazing. So lots of great people out there mingling and things. So that was I love doing that. Part of golf, not actually hitting the ball, but just communicating with others. So I think I won a whole prize, but I'm not sure. I was told I did. It was an accidental hit, but we'll straighten that out later. But also, I did also attend the meet and greet with two candidates for the position at for the county administrator. So Derek and Chris were both there. There was a number of people that attended, probably around 50. So great turnout. So good luck to those two candidates. Also, I did go to. No, I didn't go anywhere else. I did find some information to share with everybody, though. So the Chamber of Commerce, so they're involved in a lot of things, and they do a wonderful job here in the community, but they also share good information for you. So going back to the meet and greet, like I took my two boys, oldest son is 21, my youngest son is 15, and but I wanted them to experience the part of the city or county that no young people really ever attend, to kind of show them why they need to meet their leaders, and why they're there, and to kind of just help them, understand what these processes are. And so it's important to know your leaders in the community. It's important to know the people in the community that are not working for you, but working with you to move forward, to give you the amenities that you deserve here in our community. And so that was an important lesson to them, and they were really thankful of them interviewing Derek and them interviewing Chris with the same questions, and then they scored them both and submitted their vote. So that was awesome for me too as a parent, just to kind of explain that process to them. And some of those questions I would have sweated a lot on. So kudos to the candidates who answered those. Very, very good. So, but it's the Chamber of Commerce. They do a lot of things in the community as well. The United Way Golf Tournament, the Epson tours and things, whatever they're involved with. But they also put out good information as far as just like the candidate forums. I'm not running this year, or again, I took my name out of the hat, but there are candidates that are going to be running, new candidates that are going to be running for the City Commission, and USD 363, the City of Holcomb, the Board of Trustees for the Community College, and the Board of Education for the high school. So you can find that information on their website, but I do have the dates here. September 15th for USD 363, and these are all at 6 p.m. September 16th for the City of Holcomb. September 22nd for the Garden City Community College Board of Trustees. September 23rd for USD 457 Board of Education, and then September 25th for the Garden City Commission. But as I mentioned before, I just encourage you to go out and meet your newly upcoming leaders or anybody who are in the position now, just to get information and get to know you. So I encourage young people, adults, and everyone around living in Garden City to go out and participate and ask questions. Ask tough questions. My kids ask some tough questions, so that's it's pretty neat to see those kids getting involved. So also the county is also doing an amazing job with getting the word out for the sales tax initiative. So they've been informing the public on what those sales tax dollars will go towards as far as the jail facility and then the remodel of the LEC. As we know, there's been some shared video of the LEC going around, and it's not pretty. So those men and women who have to work in there, we need to help them out as best we can and as quickly as we can. So the last thing I have is the zoo projects that we awarded to Hutton and GMCN. I'd like to just see where we're at on those designs. I think we were supposed to have those here soon, but if you could just update us on where we stand for those zoo projects. And that is all I got. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to reiterate what all the other commissioners stated, but a lot of good information. Did attend a number of the events that the other commissioners stated. I just want to thank the street department for painting all and striping and repainting all the lines in the community. It really spruces up the community, and it really makes our community look really nice, and it really highlights our community. There was a highlight in the Kansas Journal that just came out, and it was highlighting the city forums, and Garden City was in it, talking about our city forum and about the community tour that we put on. So nice little shout out to Garden City and the League of Kansas Municipalities brochure or magazine there. So great things being promoted about Garden City. Great news on the award for housing in our community. That's one of our big goals that we have, so great to see that. Just wanted to, again, highlight the record number of employments that we have had in this last month, and how Garden City is really becoming the regional hub of transportation. I'm going to ask Mike to come up forward. You did mention, you did announce him at the pre-meeting, but just kind of announce the new hire, or I guess,
Yeah, I can.
old hire, new hire, old person that's been in the department for a while, but just kind of highlight.
Chan's been promoted within the electric department. He is the new director of electrical operations. Jose will oversee the electrical side of the utility side of things. And Jose's been with the city 12 years. He was on the SCADA side. He's a journeyman lineman to start with. Then he went through the substation training. That's a 4-year program as well. And just very, very active. We advertised on a national scale. We narrowed that down to the top 3. We flew 2 people in from out of town, and Jose competed with them and won it hands down.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shows we've got great people here.
Absolutely good people.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm excited for this opportunity to serve my community in different ways. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you guys, and Mike, of course, and the rest of the staff. So thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. And again, to conclude, just want to mention to everybody, fly local and shop local. That helps our community in so many ways, more ways than what you know. At this point, if there's nothing else from the commission, meeting's adjourned.